Earthquakes striking upstate New York. Magnitude 3.6 strikes Finger Lakes in the area of around Rochester, Ithaca, New York. And we had a 2.6 in Baltimore, Maryland today, right in Baltimore City. Of course, we're going to look at maps that show these earthquakes at the Canadian Earthquake Center maps, because a lot of times we don't have the USGS showing these earthquakes. Or if they do show them, they're off the map a few days later. So this is the Finger Lakes region of upstate New York. There's about 5 or 6 lakes in the area south of Rochester, around Ithaca. And of course, Baltimore was hit today. As we know, Baltimore, Maryland is a very low-lying area, basically an estuary of a bay, and this is very soft area of liquefaction, as we know that this eastern area feels earthquakes a lot more easily than West Coast does. Let's take a look at the map to see what's going on there. A little bit of the past earthquake. This is the geometry of the area of the Great Lakes. You can see Lake Erie, Lake Ontario at the 5 o'clock position there. That's upstate New York, and going into Quebec and Montreal. That is an area we don't talk about much, but there's an area there like a huge supervolcano of Wyoming status. This is the area of the Great Lakes region. Just below that, you can see that horseshoe-looking thing in a light pink. It says 1.1. That's the Coenan Rift. That is a mantle plume there. There's magma under there. And of course, they don't know where that originates from, but that 1.1, that horseshoe thing over there in the middle of the continent, stretches into Texas and then goes west into Nevada and Arizona. Now, as we can see, there's a lot in Canada that has stretching as well. But let's take a look at what the earthquakes have been doing in upstate New York and around Canada. This is the area of the New Madrid seismic zone and the Appalachian Mountains. Kindly support my Patreon account since YouTube has again demonetized my YouTube channel. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below. Okay, so this is our Maryland quake today, 2.6 magnitude, shallow 2.5. And this is it right here, Baltimore City. And going to the map, the aerial of the map, and you can see the whole thing is really very close to the water. Very soft estuary type of thing right there, very low lying. And this is the Finger Lakes region right there, where we had the 3.6 the other day. The Canada quakes show this. This is the 3.2, 3.2, upstate New York. And these are the Finger Lakes that we saw before. Should we go to the aerial? No, it doesn't have aerial here. Okay, that's it right there, south of Rochester, Finger Lakes, near Lake Canandaigua, Ithaca. I used to live in Ithaca before moving to New York City. That's, of course, Cornell University. And let's pulling out. We'll see a lot more earthquakes in the upstate New York area. Right here, this one was on June 15th, 2.6 magnitude, 18 kilometers depth. This one here in Quebec, but of course that's upstate New York. It's 2.1, 18 kilometers depth. And this one is 3 magnitude in Quebec. And you can see the activity here all along the St. Lawrence Seaway. And this, of course, is because this is a rift zone. That rift zone goes all the way down through the Lake Erie, Lake Ontario, basically through Mississippi River into this area here of Louisiana, right here. Okay, that is the New Madrid seismic zone should be called the humid rift zone. It goes this way, this Mississippi River here. Okay, this is rifting. As we know, this is the mantle plume that we saw before, that U-shaped thing that has magma underneath. It was there from 1.1 billion years ago, and they don't know where that magma is originating, but it's there. It's been there for quite a long time. Okay, this is the Superior area, was closer to the Wyoming area, and that is stretching. The Great Plain area is a stretching, a rifting of that. So basically, this area here is rifting into three sections: the west section, the middle section, and the eastern section. Okay, that's movement there. Now let's go back to our Maryland earthquake. Very soft area. I told you before, my parents were architects, first in Quebec, and then because I'm also Canadian, and then in New York City, and this is much softer, of course. The fact is that we have to be careful of where we're building, because look what happened in Florida with the collapse of the condominium there, and they knew that it was sinking for quite a few years. They should have vacated it and bring down the building, but they didn't, unfortunately, because these areas are very soft. They're very low-lying, and maybe they didn't have enough basements. You know how many basements they had in Quebec, in Montreal? As many floors as you had above ground. Let's say you had a 5-story building, you had to have 5 basements underneath to support the building. That's why a lot of buildings here, in Montreal, for example, they have a lot of underground subways, underground malls, because what are they going to do with all those basements? They have to use them. And so basically every every subway station has a mall, and there's a subway station practically in every neighborhood, because it's so easy to have underground transport, because the weather there is so inclement, and the weather in the winter is just unbelievably, terribly cold. Most of the time it was colder there than it was in Alaska. But this is how soft this area is, very soft, and that's why you can feel it. Where are we? Here we are, Washington. That's it, okay? And as we said before, usually 816 people reported feeling this. Usually, they don't have it, but anyway, usually the earthquakes here are felt 10 times more than they're felt on the West Coast, because everything is so soft here. And as we saw before, we have a tremendous amount of activity. This one here, about a month ago, May 28th, that wasn't small, 3.2. How many could have felt it? I mean, Baltimore said 800 people today reported feeling, 816. I would imagine a lot more felt it in the whole area of upstate New York. So this is today on St. Lawrence River. As we said before, that's the area that is the rift zone that continues all the way down through this area, okay, through the Mississippi, of course. We know all rivers are fault lines. There's the Mississippi right there. Look at that, Lake Erie, Lake Ontario, right there. That is, of course, part of the rift zone, and not much yet to go. Not much yet to go, because it's a rift area. Okay, so all of you there, please be aware, please be careful in the New York area. As we know, we also have a seamount here, 30 seamount volcanoes. We remember that we have 5 volcanoes in Maine, basically 4 in a 100-mile area. And yes, Maine has volcanoes. A lot of people that go walking in Maine say sometimes they smell rotten egg smell, which is not good, because, of course, those volcanic gases have to escape. That's probably where they get that smell from. Okay, so all of you there, please be very careful. This is just normal activity, obviously, but the Earth is growing, as we know, at the rate of a human fingernail every year. So our Earth is always changing and adjusting, which is normal. Thank you for your support. Please leave your comments. Thank you.